You're the devil, are you? Right, today I'm going to be changing the brake pads on this 2018 Kia Rio, and also it's Father's Day today, so happy Father's Day to all those dads out there. Anyway, before I start, I'm going to be jacking it up, and also for the safety conscious, make sure you use an axle stand. Okay, let's get this wheel off. Well, that was easy, wasn't it? By the power of editing. Let's crack on with the brakes. Okay, so the wheel's off. Just got to loosen off the caliper now. So this one's a 17mm here, and you've got a 14mm at the back, which is weird. Normally they're 13mm. So this is a 14mm there, okay? And you might need to hold this. Sometimes you might be okay, but in this case you might have to hold it here. And also you might need a little bit more leverage, okay? You can't beat a bit of leverage and use the old trick of sticking that on there like that, and then using that to get a bit of extra hoi. Okay. So I just hold that there. Hold that there, and then, oh, that was actually quite easy. Okay, and I just undo these bottom ones here then, and then we can take off the caliper. Okay, so now I've got both bolts out of here, one there and one there. Just need to lever off the caliper then, okay? So just give it a bit of this. One lovely bit of brake dust then flying up on my face. This is why it's always important to wear glasses, which I'm not. Do what I say, don't do what I do. Okay, once it's off, you don't want to let it drop, just want to rest it up on here somewhere. Just there like that. Just keep it out of the way then, because you want to get to these brake pads here. Okay, I've just turned the steering wheel now, so it's going to make it easier for me to work on and easier for you guys to see. So the first thing I want to check is these little pistons here, that they're moving freely, and they seem to be fine. It was a bit hard to get off, so I was a bit concerned. If you find it really stiff and you can't move them, you can pull them out like that. That'll pop off, and just put a little bit of grease in there, and to make sure they're moving nice and freely. Now, I need to get this piston on here pushed in. Now you can get a tool which goes on here and it pushes it in for you, but I'm not going to use that today, just in case if you're watching this and you haven't got that tool, you're going to go, I haven't got that flipping tool, you Yoda. So I'm not going to use that tool. What I'm going to do is take these little pins out of here now, and then remove this front brake pad, and I'll show you what's going to happen right next. Look at the state of that. So that's that one there. This is why it failed the MOT. And that's what it should look like. Yeah, I think they need changing. Before I go any further, I just wanted to show you that on these you can see a brake wear sensor here. So this goes that side and this goes that side. Now I don't know if you can see it just right there, just here. Okay, it's a bit covered in dirt, so you can't really see it that well. So that goes that side, and that goes that side. Ba-doink. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is just put this on loosely back on here, this caliper. Just screw it on there, like that. And this one here. And then push that over there like that, just so I can fit the screwdriver in here. So I can push that piston across then, look, okay? So I can go, yoink, Hercules strength. But the first thing I need to do is take the cap off the brake fluid reservoir. Otherwise, you're gonna get pressure and you won't be able to push it, okay? So let's go and do that. Okay, I'm just gonna loosen that off now, just leave it on the top there. But also, as I'm pushing it in, just keep a check on your brake fluid level that it doesn't overflow, okay? Because when you're pushing that push tin, it's going to push the fluid up, so you don't want it overflowing. Just going to rest on the top there. Okay, so now I've got the cap off, I'm going to push this in here. I'm going to push this way, okay, with my Herculean strength. Okay, here we go. And you can see it is going in. Marvellous. And here we are. Okay, so now that piston's in, I'm just going to take the caliper back off again. Just quickly undo these here. Pop that back up on there. And then what I want to do now is just check the carriers that it's got no dust and corrosion in these, which it has just a little bit. Let me just show you there. Can you see here? Just there. So I want to make sure that's all clean in there. I might get a little bit of a wire brush and give them a clean off. Okay, so I've got the other pad out now, and I just take this carrier out here, just flip them out there. Okay, and just give it a little bit of a clean. See, there's quite a lot of brake dust on there. And give that a little bit of a cleaning. Not too bad. But if they're really dirty or corroded, it might stop the brakes sliding back and forth. So you want them clean. So I'm going to do this one here and the top one there. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is put a little bit of this Silcoline grease, this one here, okay, Pro RG2, on these tips here, okay, just there and there, and then I'm going to put copper grease on the back. Now the reason I don't use copper grease on here, because this is where it slides back and forth, and copper grease can become quite sticky, and it may stop them sliding back and forth freely. And a bit of copper grease on the back just stops it all sticking and making any noise. Okay, when you put the copper grease on, just a very light smear. You don't want too much on, otherwise it could run off. And if you do get a bit too much on, you can always wipe it off. You'll notice that there's no holes for these little wire pins to go in, so these are no good anymore. You can just lob them. Yoink. Now I'm going to put the caliper back on. Loving all the dogs barking. There's a dog chorus going on. Okay, so that's tightening up okay. Sometimes you may need to hold that bolt there, may turn with it, but in this occasion I didn't have to. Okay, that's all on now. I'm going to put the wheel back on, put the cap back on the brake fluid reservoir, and what you must do before you go anywhere is pump the brake. Pump the foot brake, okay, to get that piston back out. Otherwise you won't have proper brakes for a bit, okay? So make sure you pump that until you feel you got good brakes. And as you drive off, then just give your brakes a bit of a test to make sure everything's okay. So that's it. Brakes are all done. And the garage quoted my wife £100 to do the brakes. And that's with the brakes included. the brake pads included, and that's not a bad price. I'm not trying to rip her off, that's probably about the right price. But the brake pads cost me £25, so I've saved 75 quid. Yeah. Oh, I saved my wife 75 quid anyway. Mind you, I would have probably had to pay for it. Anyway, so the brakes are all done. There you go, all done and dusted. If you liked the video, give it a like. There. Okay, don't forget to subscribe, and if you do want to subscribe, don't subscribe. But subscribe, yeah? Anyway, I'll catch you in the next one.